On this episode of Nugget Project, we're going to tear down our wrecker engine and see what it looks like inside. Can you guys smell that? It smells like a race engine. G'day gang, so for those of you that missed the last episode, we are now moving into the next evolution of the Nugget Project. So the car is built, we have built a race car, which is what we set out to do. Now we are actually going to try and make it competitive once again on a budget. I don't have a lot of cash, and I know a lot of you guys don't either, so we're going to go through step by step how you can do a lot of this stuff cheap in your own shed, just like we've got. I've got a lovely shed here. Don't know how long we'll have it. Could have it for 2 weeks, could have it for 2 years, but we'll take advantage of this space while we've got it. So first couple of things we're going to do, as we said in the last video, we are going to do new control suspension. We're going to make this thing lighter. We're going to make it prettier with a nice livery on it. And we're also going to make more power with our new engine. So the first thing we want to do is get stuck into our new engine over here. Okay, so if you watched last episode, this is our new Wrecker XL engine. So it's I found this in a car in Jolly's in Geelong. It's got 114,000 K in it. I don't really know the condition. It looks kind of cool. It's got a little bit of rust where it was sitting in the rain. That was my fault. But yeah, hopefully this is going to be our new engine. Now, some of the XL engines do have special heads. They've got markings on it that the racers know about, and you go, if you find the head with this marking, it's going to be fast. Whatever, I've looked around, I couldn't find any of those markings. So I'm just going to roll with what we've got here, and I think just a fresh engine is going to make a lot of difference. Our car has 220,000 K in it. This has 114. We're already winning there, but I want to make it better. So first thing we want to do is strip this thing down. I want to take the head off and take it to our friends at Dandy Engines. They are going to completely recondition the head, which will make a world of difference. It'll be like a brand new head. We're going to do some work on the bottom end, not a lot, just enough to sort of fix some things we can within the rules and within a budget. Because if we take this to an engine machinist or an engine builder, it's going to cost us a lot. And that's not what the Nugget Project's about. It's about showing you guys how we can do all this on a budget and without much mechanical knowledge. I'm just a Muppet photographer. Cool, so what we're going to do first is we're going to get this on our engine stand. I went and got some bolts, so you can put it on our engine stand, and then we're going to do a quick time lapse of tearing this thing down and have a look at what it looks like inside. All right, we'll give this a go. My other camera's on my tripod, so I'm gonna have to hand hold this one. But the engine's on the stand. It's a little bit ghetto because I was missing a nut, so I've had to use a wing nut on this, but it's all nice and tight. There's plenty of other bolts in there and a stack of washers to make it fit, but yeah, this engine is ready to be torn down. It is filthy and I'm looking forward to cleaning it. Now, one thing I do want to make mention of, and some of the mechanics are going to laugh at me for this, whatever, you do things your way, but sandwich bags. So these are just a box of sandwich bags, like $2 for 100. And these have the little space on there where you can write on it what's in there. So whenever I take bolts out, say I take the exhaust manifold off, all the exhaust manifold bolts go in that bag, just write on it with a permanent marker, exhaust manifold, and then I know that's what they're for. I'm not going to lose them, not going to get them confused. Very easy. If anything is slightly more advanced, say like taking the cams out, I'll actually draw the cams up on a piece of cardboard, slot them in exactly where they came from, just in case there are any slight differences in lengths. I'm sure mechanics have got better trays, or they just remember because they're gods in the mechanic world. I'm not that guy. Anyway, let's get this thing torn down and see what condition it's in. Alrighty, now guys, remember, we know nothing about the history of this engine. I mean, all we know is what the odometer told us on that car, which was 114,000. Check out the inside of this thing. I am stoked. Look how clean it is. There's no marks on the cam lobes. It looks brand bloody new. I'm so excited. The chain looks in great condition. It's fantastic. And even look at the inside of the cam cover. It looks brand new. Now, I don't know if you guys remember the condition of the inside of the Nug when we pulled that apart. We pulled the cam cover off that, and it was like the inside of a chimney. It was like creosote and gross, and it was a real mess. It was really bad, and this engine's been amazing. And now look at this thing. So excited. So that's fantastic. Anyway, we've stripped it all down now. We need to take the cams out to be able to take the head off. Now, you're probably looking at this going, why? Why are you working on this head? Because it's in great condition. You're right, I'm kind of like, a couple of years ago, I would have just put this in the car and sent it, but I now know we need everything we can. And if the guys at Dandy Engine said they're gonna help me out, even with just the 100,000 K that's on this engine, it's gonna be a little bit worn. The valves will need reseating and stuff. So look, let's just take it off. We'll take it down to them. We'll get them to reseat it. They can recut the seating and everything and just make it, you know, that little bit perfect. But I'm stoked that it's in such good condition. You know, we're not starting from a crappy engine. We're starting with a good engine. And I'm hoping the bottom end's gonna look just as good, because this is fantastic. I'm wrapped for 200 bucks. Wowzers. So cool, let's get these cams out and get this head off. Alrighty, the head is off. Pistons look a little cruddy, but you know, nothing to be unexpected for the age. The bores look really good. They're probably hard to see on camera. They've got a bit of shine on them, which is to be expected. So we'll just give them a bit of a hone, Dunny brush hone to get rid of the glaze. But yeah, the head looks amazing. It's in really good condition. So this is the sort of tool you usually use to get the head bolts out. But because of the casting, you can't actually get that tool in there. Luckily, we had this guy, and he does fit down in there very easily. So thank you to our dear friend Brian. Now, I did talk about this briefly in a previous video, but not all of you watch all the videos. Our friend Brian has been around all my life. He was there the day I was born over in England, and he actually immigrated out with my family and lived with us for a while. Unfortunately, Brian passed away a couple of years ago, and he left me all his tools, which is just amazing. And that little tool I just showed you, that long extension, that was one of his. And without a toolbox full of tools like that, there's no way I could do half of this stuff. So I'm very fortunate that Brian was lovely enough to leave me all his tools. This toolbox over here is his toolbox. So it's a beautiful, beautiful toolbox full of all the race tools. So Brian used to work for the Honda race team with my dad and built race bikes. So yeah, that's Brian's toolkit, and he's got some beautiful tools in there. So yeah, thanks, Brian. Hopefully you're looking down and seeing that I am using your tools for their intended purpose. And I know when I'm using one of Brian's tools because he's got a little B engraved on every one of his tools. So I always thank Brian when I use one. Thanks, B. Okay, so now we've got the head off. I now want to take the sump off. So we'll spin this engine around and pop the sump off and have a look at the bottom end, see what it looks like. All right, let's see how many hundreds of litres of fluids fall out of this thing when we spin it around. Yeah. I might get another tray. I knew that'd happen. Oh, all the oil. Ah, no, the bolt. Yuckies. Alrighty, sump is off, and the inside of the bottom end looks pretty good. Obviously won't know more until we pull a couple of the caps off and have a look at the pistons. Might pull one of the crank caps off and just check out the journals, and then pop off one of the caps of the pistons and just have a look and see how it all looks under there. But yeah, good news. And we'll strip the last few bits off, like the oil pickup and this water hose and a few other little bits, and pretty much get her naked. But it's getting there. All right, let's pop a couple of these rod bolts off and just see what kind of condition they're in. There we go. There we go. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, that looks great. All right, so that's one of the rod bearings there. It looks good, like it's worn, but it doesn't look that bad. And as the guy said, I've spoken to, you don't want to put new bearings in because they're a bit tight. So I think we will run those bearings because they look fine to me. The crank looks great. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's good. All right, I think for the time being, I'm going to pop this bearing back in and just loosely do up that that rod because I'm not ready to pop this all out yet. I want this to stay in there and stay oiled up. So we'll put a bit of oil in this and pop it back in, and we'll deal with that another time. So there we go, gang. Just a quick video today, just to strip down this engine and just have a look at it because I had no idea if it was any good, and it looks pretty bloody good. So we don't need to do anything more with the bottom end at the moment. So I'm just gonna oil up all the pistons and the bores, make sure nothing rusts because it's so wet in Victoria at the moment. And then just glad wrap over the top, keep it all sealed up. I've put the sump on just with a few bolts, keep that all good, and we'll plug up any holes so we don't get any rusting. And then we'll get the head all wrapped up and all clean, send off to our mates at Dandy Engines, get them to do that. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna pack everything up and we'll start to clean things up when we get more time. However, we need to get stuck into the rest of the car, which is, hopefully I should come into a little bit of money next week so I can order the new Super Shock suspension. We'll do a video and put that in, and we'll compare the sort of the build quality between the Super Shocks and between the MCAs. Just out of interest, have a look at them. And then we start making this thing lighter. So we've got a bunch of parts we're gonna go through, start doing all that. I've got a new bit I ordered yesterday and start ripping weight out of this thing, making it lighter, and we'll try to get to Winton to see how the car progresses over time. I'd love to not just do everything and go there and hopefully go faster. It'd be cool if we can put the suspension in, drop a bit of weight, go and test the car. Maybe new wheels, go test the car. Things like that, and we can gradually see if all this stuff is actually making a difference and whether it's worth spending the money. Anyway, that's enough for now. Thanks for watching, guys. Click like, subscribe, all those things. Why can't I say that? Yeah, once again, I'm now on TikTok. It's a horrible platform. Everybody's nasty. I've turned the comments off, but I do a few videos of just funny little things I see in the workshop. So if you want to follow that, it's just at the Nugget Project. Yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.